Hey Comets, welcome to the Telescope Talks. My name is Tanner Hayes, and I'm the sports editor for the Telescope. We're more than a month into the semester, and for all of our fall sports teams, conference games are already underway. Now, maybe some of you listening don't even know that huge white dome in the middle of campus is actually a sports gymnasium, and not a celestial observatory. It houses our volleyball, basketball, and wrestling teams. Whether you follow Palomar sports or not, I'm going to give you a good update on what our teams have done this season and tell you about the student athletes that have been making the biggest impact. First off, for women's volleyball, they have been absolutely killing it this season. Pun definitely intended. The team is 10-3 with a 3-1 record in the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference. On the team, there's only 4 returning sophomores: Emma Bambi, Kiana Merrill, Teora Tinoy Samoa, and Sierra Schoenwald. Even with the limited number of players with college-level experience and experience playing with each other, the team chemistry is tight. Coaches Carl Seiler and Kenna Broach are big on recruiting high-caliber freshman players. A couple to note are Reese Moffitt and Caden Pinto. Moffitt is on another level, literally. When she told me I can jump pretty high in an interview, it was an understatement. Moffitt soars when she hits, and that has landed her in the top 5 of all players in the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference in total kills this season. Pinto is the team's starting setter, but she's also the heart and soul of this squad. Even in their few losses this season, Pinto can be easily identified as the player dancing and singing on the court in between sets to motivate her teammates. She's not only the set piece for most of the team's kills, she's also racked up enough digs to make any defensive specialist player blush. Now, Coach Seiler told me that Bambi and Merrill are the team's captains, but that was more than obvious for me to see at the games I've attended. They're always giving it their all, offensively and defensively. Both women are in the top 10 in defensive statistics in the conference, and Bambi is a top 10 hitter as well. Their first conference loss was pretty tough. It was a 3-set sweep at the hands of San Diego Mesa, a powerhouse volleyball program that won the state championship in 2023 and made it to the state playoff semifinals in 2024. Palomar followed this up with 2 straight sweeps of Southwestern and San Diego City colleges and beat Miracosta 3-1, securing a 3-game win streak. The women's volleyball team is doing well this season, to say the least, and if they keep up this momentum, they have a great chance of ranking high in the conference, and they pose a threat to teams wanting to go far in the state playoffs. Next up, football. Oh, football. The football program has a lot going on this season. It's the second season of the new stadium, and during the offseason, the program picked up 5 new coaches at various offensive and defensive positions to build up the team from within. And yet, they are sitting at a 1-4 record halfway through the season. The team's issues seem to be one of a rebuilding sort. New coaches can do a lot for an already established program, and the team as a whole is filled with freshmen lacking experience at the college level. There was also a key injury that really set back the offense that happened early in the team's game against Pasadena City. Since then, the team has been on a 3-game losing streak. Sophomore running back Chris Bosch had almost 250 rushing yards in the first 2 games of the season, but was injured in the first quarter of Game 3. Bosch's absence has definitely impacted the offense, as they lost games 3 and 4 by a single possession. Still, there have been many instances where the team looks totally solid. Freshman wide receiver Furious Hoskins leads the team with 7 touchdown receptions this season, including a record-breaking performance against Riverside College that included a 62-yard and a 99-yard touchdown catch. Aside from the 69 points given up in the team's loss to Riverside, the defense has looked solid. Ugly turnovers and a couple of games where the team hasn't produced offensively until the second half have cast a shadow over what this team is capable of. The team is heading into a bye week before their next game on October 9th, and we will see if this football squad can turn things around in the second half of the season. Now up at Minkoff Field, the oft-forgotten field located by the Borden Road entrance to campus, both men and women's soccer teams have been putting in a lot of work this season. The men currently have a record of 3-3-3. Yes, you can tie in soccer. The biggest takeaway from the season so far is that the team really hasn't seen much success at home yet, with 2 draws and 2 losses, and not a single win. But on the road, they have 3 wins, 1 loss, and a draw. In its first 2 games of the season, the men's team lost to San Bernardino and Pasadena City. Both teams are top 10, I think number 5 and number 8 among California community colleges, and since then they have only posted one defeat to El Camino, number bloody 2 in the state rankings, and on the opponent's turf nonetheless. They are currently undefeated in conference play, however, with a win and then a draw on the road against Imperial Valley and Southwestern College. Palomar's team is solid offense led by forwards Jakub Kozlowski and Ishmael Zavala. Kozlowski's 10 goals are currently the most among all players in the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference. Palomar also has 2 competing goalkeepers sharing time between the posts, Emmanuel Kidane Mariam, aka Manny, and Bruin Bailey. Aside from the 10 goals given up to the 3 top 10 teams, both keepers have combined to give up only 7 goals to the other 6 teams, and each has produced a shutout game. Their rivalry for the starting goalkeeper position is an interesting story that the Telescope Sports Desk will be sure to keep track of. The women's soccer team has been kicking ass ever since the team's first game lost to San Bernardino. The highlight was the 4-game win streak in the first 3 weeks of September, where the women outscored their opponents 24-3 over the stretch. The team is 5-2-2. That's 5 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws overall, and 3-1-1 in conference play, with a 3-2-1 record at home and a 2-0-1 record on the road. Palomar's women's soccer team has a lot of prolific freshman players on the team this year, most notably Sophia Frederick, who has 7 goals in just 3 starts this season, including a hat trick she netted in a 10-1 victory over Imperial Valley on September 16th. Frederick wasn't the only Comet to secure a hat trick in that match. Sophomore Reese Leichtfuss also joined in on that fun. Naomi Allen is the team's definitive captain and attributes the young team's strong chemistry to the incoming freshmen already possessing a lot of skill and the bonding sessions the team participates in outside of games and practices. The team's only hiccup in their recent success came in a 2-0 loss to Southwestern College on September 30th. The Pacific Coast Athletic Conference is up for grabs this season, and the next few games will factor heavily into whether both men's and women's programs will be at the top of it. Now, water polo is a weird sport in this conference. Both teams play many more games outside of the conference in the form of tournaments than they do against teams in the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference. They only play conference teams once each during the regular season, with a conference tournament at the end of the season to determine the champion. The men's team was recently on a 5-game losing streak, but 4 of those were tournament play, and the 5th was a friendly competition against the University of California San Diego's water polo club. The men responded big October 1st with a 21-1 obliteration of San Diego Miramar. Halfway through the season, and this was only the second conference game, they had also beat Crafton Hills 16-9 on the 17th of September. Unfortunately, I have not personally attended a water polo match this year, but it's clear that Mikey Montoro is the team star. Montoro leads the team outright with 44 goals, and after last night's clobbering of Miramar, he leads in assists with 18. The month of October is heavy in conference play, and the Telescope will be paying close attention to how this team stacks up against the rest of the conference. Women's water polo is in a much similar boat, but has seen more success at the tournament level than the men. The women won the Palomar Mini Tournament, the San Diego Miramar Tournament, and the Southwestern Tournament this season. In conference play, the women also defeated Crafton Hills and San Diego Miramar, but have yet to truly begin the big stretch of conference games. Freshman McKinley McCulloch leads Palomar stats with 42 goals scored and 23 assists to her name. She may have more, but the stats are not currently available. McCulloch will be a vital part in the Comets' continued run towards the conference championship, which they won back in 2021. All right, finally, I'm not going to sit here and talk to a mic and pretend like I understand wrestling. The men's wrestling looks brutal and awesome. Head coach Timothy Box has been coaching Palomar wrestling since 2020, but he's been coaching at both collegiate and international levels. Box even won a silver medal in an International Beach Wrestling World Series in 2019. Basically, wrestling is badass, and Coach Box is too. It is unfortunate, though, that there are not many community college wrestling programs in California. In fact, since Box revived the women's wrestling program at Palomar in 2023, they are still the only community college in San Diego County with a women's wrestling team. Thanks for the awesome information, Mason. But because of the lack of programs nearby, most of Palomar's duels, as they call them in wrestling, happen away from Palomar. In the team's first and only duels this season at Mount San Antonio College, Palomar had 2 wrestlers finish the day undefeated. Sergio Porras, at the lightweight division and Alejandro Scolari at heavyweight. Palomar will finally have a duel at home when they face Mount Sac on October 8th. And that will do it for the sports update. Thanks for hanging out with us, Comets. Don't miss the latest from Palomar at thetelescope.com or our Instagram page, _telescope. Thanks.